Alright then, people. Your Cloudy has returned. And today I just want to talk a little bit about the visual apartheid that is currently a global problem. Now, I have been talking about this for a while in a couple different ways. I won't be doing this for too long because I am very, very busy today. But I really am hoping that you will understand by the end of the live stream. And the reason I'm doing it live is so that you can clarify whatever you need to clarify with me. Whatever you don't understand that you may ask. In that way, I can tell you exactly what I'm talking about, all right? Now, I know what I'm talking about. Purely and simply because I myself am blind and I talk and interact with other blind people I know. And over the years, visual apartheid has become a real issue. Now, what is visual apartheid? Visual apartheid is separation and alienation of the blind, is the way sighted people treat, well, mistreat us, really. And that used to be a small thing back in the years, because obviously people didn't have well, no one really had the tools that people have now, and obviously expectations of people are very high because the abilities are increasing year by year. But back in the years, even the sighted didn't have that many abilities and things to look like they can do a lot. And in the way, we were quite equal. But now, because there is so much development going on and so many expectations are from people that blind people don't seem to be considered by others. And you know how painful that is? For me, at least, that is really bad. I mean, there are a few blind people that I talk to, and they don't like it either, and it's ludicrous. Uh, now, why is this happening? Why is this visual apartheid happening? Well, first thing, like I said earlier, expectations of the society are increasing year by year. Second of all, even though we have legal rights and even though we have visual aids and tools to help us live, general public aren't always aware of what we have. Like perfect example is I told somebody I am blind, let's say a rapper I'm doing a collab with or someone, and people be like, Cloudy, how are you reading and writing if you're blind? I'll be like, don't you know? Aren't you aware? Living in these years, don't you know anything at all? You know what I mean? And then they'll be like, all right, how do you read and write in general? I'll be like, don't you know? Don't you know Braille exists? Don't you even know what Braille is? People be like, no, I got a clue. I'll be like, Jesus, how much less can you be aware of our tools, of our abilities, if you don't know anything at all? You don't like obviously, and that's what's causing the problem. People don't know what we can do. People have no idea what we can do. People have no idea of our abilities. People have no idea of Like like I said earlier, the tools we have, like, all right, Louis Braille, yeah. Anyone hardly knows anything about him. And he was the first blind who was actually world famous for the massive difference he made for people like me. For people like me, he made an extremely massive difference because he actually invented the writing system for us, which we still use until today. All right. Now, that is, what I mean? All right. You might say, all right, well, people like that, they obviously are looked up to, and their legacy is obviously forever remembered. I agree with that. But shouldn't the general public, who are the regular blind people, be treated the same way? Shouldn't we, shouldn't somebody like me or somebody like Delagrand or I don't know, other people, shouldn't we be treated the same way? Shouldn't we be equal to you? What are we? Like, all right, what are we? Like, take me, for example, yeah? What am I? I'm a human, exactly the same as you are. I can speak, I can walk, I got a brain, at least I think I do. Yeah, I am a regular human being. The only difference I have from you is that I am blind and you are not. Now, why should that be a problem? Like, are we going back to World War II years when Hitler wanted to kill every disabled person existing? Are we going back to those years? Tell me now, are we? Are we going back to them years when no disabled person was allowed to live? We're not, are we? So many people died to get rid of that, to get rid of him who hated the disabled. Now, why are we going back to those years again? Why is all this shit happening? Why are we treated like aliens? Isn't it easier to just learn more about us than try to throw us out of the public? How, like, do you realize what we blind people can do to help you, sighted love? Yes, we are different. Yes, we require help sometimes. Yes, there are things happening. But pity's sake, we can help you just like you help us. Only you gotta help us too. This visual apartheid is not only happening where I am, it is really, really, it's a global issue, really. And I have been in contact with a few public people. Like I have sent an email to BBC regarding this. Um, I'm also gonna be in contact with Capital regarding this, and BBC didn't get back to me yet. I also had emailed, don't know if you know, Elise Eklund. I've not had a reply from her either, so I really don't know where I'm gonna go with this. But if all of you get up and actually do something about it, if all of you actually get up and help the blind, if all of you can get up and talk about it and make more sighted people aware of what we are and what we do, you know how much that would mean to us? You know how big of a thing that will be, what you have done for us? Oh, hello, skills, yes. All right, you two, stop fighting. All right. So, like I was saying, people need to, all of you need to get up and do something about this. The whole freaking world has to get up and speak. We can't have this, people. We can't have this. We can't have blind people being separated from the sighted. We can't have sighted people stepping back and underestimating our abilities. We can't have sighted people being, oh, this person's blind, they can't do nothing. Or what Delagrand told me had actually happened was the fact that there was a blind girl or lady walking down the city with a guide dog, and somebody took a picture of her and published on social media and said she's faking her blindness because she's using a phone. How much more ridiculous can that be? People need to be aware of like the apps we've got, like the talking programs and things that allow us to use the technology that you sighted people use. None of this shit should happen at all, I'm telling you now. It's true, yeah, people are dying, and blind people especially are dying. Now, it is true, people are dying, and blind people especially are dying. And you know why that is? That is because of the visual apartheid that is killing the world at the moment. And if people don't speak up, and if people don't do anything, if people don't put articles into public, if people don't make sighted aware of what we're all about, this visual apartheid is going to sweep the planet. This visual apartheid is going to sweep the planet. If we don't fucking get up and do anything about it, then can you imagine how many more people are going to be killing themselves because they are blind and they don't fit in? Because the sighted people treat them like that. And suicide is an increasing problem year by year by year by year by year. And yet we have all of this shit going on. Like, get your brain, people. Do you know how it beats me up when people are treating a blind like that? When general public don't actually consider blind people. Take art galleries, for example, yeah? People are so visual these days, like for real. Like, people rely on their eyes more than on anything else. That even art galleries aren't accessible to visually impaired people simply because every sculpture that could possibly be touched by a blind person has a big do not touch sign on it. Even art galleries discriminate. Like, fam, if you are a creative person, if you are an artist or something, you have to think that people with every disability have rights to your artwork. There's this fellow I know. um, I went to visit his gallery a few years ago, 2 years ago. Now, he is a sculptor, yeah, but his speciality and what I love him for is he does multi-sensory art. I didn't believe it at first, but when I myself went to see his gallery, talked to him personally, and sat there having lunch with him, and then he brought me lots of his sculptures for me to have a look at. You know what? I was amazed. I was amazed at what I myself had looked at. I was like, fuck's sake, how, like, you couldn't be more clever than that. You couldn't be more clever than that. You literally couldn't think of anything that is more tolerant than this. And whilst I was speaking to him, I made a statement. I said, you know, everyone is so visual that they're forgetting all the other senses they have. He was like, he took hold of me and he was like, you couldn't be more right. And I said, I know I'm right. I know I'm right because that's how it actually is. People are so visual these days that they forget all the other senses they have. While we blind people, we physically cannot be visual. And we are 10 times cleverer than you lot because we have learned to use every other sense we have to help us explore the world around us. While you sighted people, all you can do without your eyes is sleep. And I don't really give a fuck right now if I'm being mean or not, because this is really, this whole thing's been getting to me really. Like, just because we can do something that you can't, and you can do something that we can't, doesn't mean you have to treat us like we are fucking aliens. Like I said earlier, we are people. We are human beings just like you. And we should not be discriminated because of our disability. And this artist, he wants his work to be accessible to everyone. May you be deaf, may you be blind, his artwork you can feel, you can smell, you can, he puts lots of sounds in it, like he makes some bell balls, like ceramic bell balls and things. He puts colors so you can look at them. He puts textures so you can feel them, smell, sound, you know what I mean? That's why it is multisensory. He wants it to be accessible to everyone. I said, you know something, mate? You are like one of the greatest. I literally said that to him. And I really wish that everyone was like that. I don't only mean within the art industry and things like that. I mean with everything. You have to consider everyone. You can't just expect everyone to see what you're doing. There are and there will be, there were, there are, and there will be people who are just not able to see. And you have to be ready for that. And you have to tolerate that. You have to tolerate that. You have to be ready for that. You can't rely on people's eyes because not everyone's eyes are able to help them the way you would want them to. Now, by the end of my days of life, which could happen anytime, as we know, what I'm really hoping for is equality between the sighted and the blind. And if all of you can get up and help me with this, that would mean everything to me. Nothing is more important to me than helping out people with whom I share disability. So all of you, help us. Don't treat us like this, but actually get up and help us. Actually get up and speak up for us, that we may live and be equal and be loved just like you are. Now, I don't feel like I have anything else to say. I've given pretty much detail. I am starting to feel really bad now. And like I said earlier, I have got a lot to do. Please, if you want to clarify something, please hit me up. And like I said, don't turn away. Actually help us. May every blind person existing be loved and cared for and considered by the sighted. To each and every one of you, I would like to wish best of luck and please help us.